The image holds one single photograph. A man standing tall, eyes fixed on a future unseen. His name, Ibrahim Traoré. The world has heard his voice, but tonight, we go deeper, behind the words, behind the silence, behind the weight carried in his chest. This is the story, not just of one man, but of a voice that refuses to be silenced. The desert wind whispers, Burkina Faso, land of warriors, land of memory, land of unfinished battles, and in the middle of it, a soldier turned leader. A voice turned storm. A young man standing against centuries of shadows. Pause. Do you hear it? The sound of chains being dragged through history, the sound of nations silenced beneath iron and greed, the sound of the people, finally, refusing to bow. That is where his story begins.
The microphone cracks, the world leans in, Traore speaks, his tone, measured, deep, unshaken, every word heavy, every pause intentional, and the crowd, they don't just listen, they breathe with him, they rise with him. I stand here, he says, not for myself, but for every child denied bread, for every farmer whose land was stolen, for every voice cut down before it could sing. The hall trembles, not from applause, but from the silence between heartbeats, because in that moment, the world knows, this is not politics, this is prophecy. But who is he? A soldier, a revolutionary, a dreamer too stubborn to sleep. To understand his message we must understand the wound he carries. Burkina Faso, once up a volta. A name carved by strangers. Borders drawn with ink dipped in arrogance. A people taught to forget their own tongue, taught to kneel before a crown they never chose, and yet, they remembered, they resisted, they endured, through colonization, through coups, through the endless hunger of foreign hands, and now, one voice steps forward, young, unyielding, unapologetic, Ibrahim Traoré. The world doesn't welcome men like him, the world fears them, because truth, when spoken without permission, shakes empires, and so the resistance begins, not from his people, but from those outside, those who profit from silence. Those who built their wealth on the backs of others. Pause. Do you know, he says, what freedom costs? His voice grows sharper. Not in coins. Not in contract, but in blood. In sweat. In dignity stolen. The hall shifts, some nod, some squirm, and still he continues. For too long, he declares, we have been told that we are weak, that we cannot rise without their hand guiding us, that our future must always wear their chains. His fists tighten on the podium. But hear me now, we will rise, and this time, we rise alone. The opposition is fierce, Western diplomats whisper in corridors, contracts threatened, sanctions sharpened, the invisible weapons of the modern empire. They call him reckless, dangerous, radical, but the people, they call him necessary. A voice in the crowd shouts, never again. Another follows, our land. Our right. Our future. And suddenly the air becomes fire, not just words, but conviction. But with conviction comes danger. Every word Traore speaks marks him. Assassins sharpen their knives, cameras twist his image, articles flood the world with fear. Young dictator. Populist threat. Instability in the region. They strip him of context, they strip him of humanity, but what they cannot strip is his defiance. Pause, listen again, the microphone crackles, his voice cuts through. I will not betray my people, not for promises, not for threats, not for the gold they dangle before me. He leans closer. If I must fall, I will fall standing, and if I must die, let it be with my fists clenched and my eyes wide open. The hall roars, not applause, but thunder, and then, the moment that changes everything. A silence. A pause too long, the weight of the world pressing down, the question no one dares ask, can he survive? Traore knows the risk. Every leader who stood before him, every dreamer who dared to challenge the world order, they all paid the price. Thomas Sankara, Lumumba, Nkrumah, names whispered like prayers, names buried in unmarked graves of history, and yet, he does not stop. Do not mourn me, he says. If I am gone tomorrow, remember, I was only a voice. The real power lies in you, the people, the land, the blood that refuses to kneel. The crowd surges, hands rise, voices merge into one. A chant. A heartbeat. An anthem born not of music but of defiance. Liberty or death. Liberty or death. The sound crashes against the walls, echoes into the streets, rises into the night sky, and the world listens. In that moment, something shifts, not just in Burkina Faso, not just in Africa, but across the world. The oppressed hear him, the forgotten hear him, the silenced hear him, and suddenly, it is no longer about one man. It is about a generation. A future unafraid of the storm. Traore leans back, his face calm, his voice steady. History will not forgive cowards, and neither will our children. Silence, the kind of silence that lingers, the kind of silence that feels eternal, and then, applause, not polite, not forced, but furious, alive, unstoppable. The speech ends, but the echo does not. People leave the hall, but they carry his words like fire in their chest, like a secret weapon hidden in plain sight across borders, across oceans. His message spreads. A farmer in Mali repeats it to his son. A student in Paris whispers it under her breath. A worker in New York finds courage in its rhythm. The world begins to shift, not in headlines, not in boardrooms, but in hearts.
And yet, Traore knows, the storm is not over, the fight has only begun, but that is the power of words. They outlive the man, they outlive the moment, they outlive the silence forced upon them. He said, "We do not ask for permission to be free. We simply are." And that truth cannot be erased. The camera fades, the hall empties, the photograph remains. One man, one voice, one fire that refused to die. And so the story lingers, not just as a speech, not just as a headline, but as a promise that somewhere, in every corner of the world, there are voices waiting to rise, there are fists waiting to clench, there are children waiting to inherit not chains, but wings. Pause. This is more than a speech. This is more than a man. This is the sound of a people remembering who they are, and when people remember, nothing can stop them. The image remains, unmoving, unshaken, eternal. Ibrahim Traoré, the voice that dared the world, the storm that refused to be silenced. The message is clear. The story is not his alone. It is ours. It is yours. It is forever.